Hi, everyone. My name is Moe and welcome to another episode of Income Investors. So with me today is John Whitefoot. But before I go into any details, I'm going to let you know that anything you hear in this video is for information and educational purposes only. No matter how safe an investment sounds, it comes with risk. To read more about it, please see the description below. They say an apple a day keeps the doctor away, but eggs can do wonders for your bank account. John?
Yes, thank you. Exactly, Mo. Eggs are big business, $10 billion industry that reported 13% annual growth in profits from 2017 to 2022. But it's a volatile industry too. It's sensitive to market changes and environmental factors. Case in point, egg prices surged in 2022 on growing inflation. Egg prices also increased in 2022 over the deadliest outbreak of flu. Case in point, egg prices surged in 2022 on growing inflation. Egg prices also increased in 2022 over the deadliest outbreak of bird flu in U.S. history, which killed millions of egg-laying hens. In December 2022, we paid $4.30 on average for a dozen grade A large eggs. That's more than double the $1.80 a year earlier.
And those industry tailwinds have been windfall for today's income pick. Cal-Maine Foods Inc. traded on NASDAQ under symbol CALM. They're an overlooked consumer defensive stock that has done exceptionally well since start of 2022, reporting record results, rewarding investors with both strong share price gains and growing. And for dividend investors, it has paid out hefty dividends. John?
Yeah, absolutely. Cal-Maine is the largest egg producer with a 16.8% market share. It's an easy company to understand. It only has one operating segment, which is the production, grading, packaging, marketing, and distribution of shell eggs. Its integrated operations consist of hatching chicks, growing and maintaining flocks of pullets, layers and breeders, manufacturing feed, and producing, processing, packaging, and distributing shell eggs. A little background, in case you don't know a lot about chickens and hens. Layers are mature female chickens. Pullets are female chickens, usually less than 18 weeks of age. And breeders are male and female chickens used to produce fertile eggs to be hatched for egg production flocks. Cal-Maine's total flock currently consists of 42.2 million layers and 11.5 million pullets and breeders.
How does Cal-Maine do when egg prices are down?
The domestic egg market is intensely competitive and highly volatile even under normal market conditions. For the most part, though, Cal-Maine has been able to weather the volatility because it's a producer and distributor of eggs. It doesn't actually sell directly to the public. Instead, it sells its eggs to a diverse group of retail customers, including national and regional grocery chains, club stores, companies that supply to independent supermarkets, food service distributors, and egg product customers. The majority of its conventional eggs are sold on market quotes published by an independent third-party market reporter.
And I know I read about this. They reported record results in 2022. How is 2023 looking for them now?
Well, yeah, you have to be doing well to be profiled on Income Investors. But before I get to that, there's some background that I think is important before we get to the actual numbers. In May, this past May, large eggs cost 94 cents per dozen on the wholesale market. That's a big drop from $5.46 per carton just 6 months earlier. Now, why the big decline? It's basic economics, like supply and demand metrics. In 2022, the deadly avian flu wiped out a massive number of egg-laying hens, which reduced egg supply. Moreover, farmers had to contend with higher fuel and feed costs. In 2023, though, supply is back on track and inflation is starting to cool. But because of Cal-Maine's huge footprint and market quotas, it's able to still report oversized revenue and earnings growth. So, for example, in the third quarter of fiscal 2023, which ended February 25th, quarterly net sales increased 109% to around 997.5 million. Quarterly net income was 322.7 million, or $6.64 per share. That's up massively from 39.4 million, or 81 cents per share in the same prior year period. And broken down, conventional eggs, net average selling price per dozen more than doubled to $3.67, while the net average selling price for specialty eggs jumped 36% to $2.61 per dozen. And what's important to remember is that not all eggs are created equal. While the number of total dozen eggs sold increased 1.3% in the third quarter to more than 291 million dozen eggs, The number of conventional egg volumes actually decreased 2.7%, while specialty egg volumes increased 9.4%.
John, do you care to explain what are specialty eggs? I've never heard of this.
No, maybe not, but you've certainly seen them. Specialty eggs they have different colors: olive, blue, dark brown. They also include cage-free, organic, and pasture-raised hens. Specialty eggs and the demand for specialty eggs is like soaring. Specialty egg production has doubled since 2016. The U.S. Department of Agriculture predicts that by 2026, 66% of shell eggs sold will be under the specialty egg umbrella. Again, that's more than double in sales in under 5 years.
And how come we're seeing such a big demand for a specialty egg?
Consumers have changed a lot over the years. They're more concerned about where their food comes from and how it's produced. In the case of hens, many consumers want to know the eggs were raised ethically, which generally means free range and cage-free hens. The shell egg industry is not without its detractors, though. In traditional environments, hens can live their entire lives in a space less than the dimension of an iPad, and that's not something today's consumers are keen to hear. Cal-Maine, though, offers a diverse product mix to meet the needs of its customer base, with specialty eggs being a key driver of growth. In fact, the company's board recently approved a $165.5 million capital project to expand Cal-Maine's cage-free production capacity. The project is expected to convert existing conventional layer capacity to cage-free of about 1.5 million cage-free hens, and work is expected to be completed by year-end 2025. In addition to increasing its specialty egg business, it's important to note that the company was not affected by the bird flu outbreak, which is actually testament to Cal-Maine Foods following strict biosecurity protocols across all locations. That's probably more than, admittedly, anyone wants to learn about specialty eggs, but it's an important part of Cal-Maine's long-term growth projects.
And let's talk about dividends. I know you've mentioned that financial performance was strong. How's that impacting the dividends?
Well, in the case of Cal-Maine, strong earnings always translate into big dividends. In the just completed fiscal third quarter, the company announced it increased its quarterly distribution to $2.20 per share. That's up 62% from the previous quarter, and that's up more than 16-fold over the 0.125 per share in the same prior year period. This works out to an annual payout of $5.15 per share for a yield of 10.95%, which is more than twice the inflation rate of 4.9%. The company's actually increased its dividend for the last 4 quarters, which means it's making an awful lot of money, and investors are the benefactors. But there's a big difference between the kind of dividend that Cal-Maine pays and what most companies do, and this is important for income investors to understand. Unlike most companies, Cal-Maine Food pays a variable dividend. So every quarter it reports net income, it pays a cash dividend to shareholders equal to 1/3 of the quarterly income, which is great news if a company is generating a lot of cash, but it's not great if it logs a loss. And it won't pay another quarterly dividend until it is profitable on a cumulative basis from the date of the most recent quarter in which a dividend was paid. Now, some investors may not like the idea of a variable dividend, but it has its benefits. Most companies pay a relatively low quarterly dividend that they think they can maintain. With a variable dividend, investors get a portion of the payout, and it can be a lot more lucrative than a typical dividend. And a lot of companies are actually switching to a variable dividend, including Devon Energy, ConocoPhillips, and Pioneer Natural Resources Company.
That's great to know, John. I know Comstock has seen a solid move over the past 1 year, but what's ahead? What are Wall Street analysts thinking?
Yeah. You're right. Cal-Maine stock has been having a great year, up 26% over the last 12 months. And the outlook for Cal-Maine stock remains solid, with the flu outbreak expected to exert downward pressure on the egg supply and how long it will take to replenish the U.S. hen flock. And that isn't expected to happen until early 2024. So demand of specialty eggs is also on the rise. Inflation is still an issue too. Prices have come down, but they're still robust. Against this bullish backdrop, Wall Street analysts have provided a 12-month share price target of $57.50 to $60 per share.
John, thank you so much for talking about Cal-Maine Foods, traded on NASDAQ under symbol CALM. It is one of the largest and only publicly traded U.S. egg-producing company, capturing 16.8% of the market. Thanks to strong supply and demand and pricing, Cal-Maine has been able to report strong financial performance, and the momentum has carried into 2023. Thanks to its variable dividend format, Cal-Maine has been able to increase its payout by 62% quarter over quarter, and over the past 1 year, its dividend has increased by 1,600%. There is no guarantee that the company's next quarterly payout will be as big, but a strong demand for eggs certainly points to more oversized payouts in coming quarters. Variable dividends aren't for everyone, but they're a great way for companies to maintain financial discipline and stability and provide yield hogs with more opportunities for income. That's it for today. We'll be back for another video soon. In the meantime, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel.